Hi guys, this is not clickbait. I genuinely met the Minister of Magic, but you'll have to watch on to find out exactly which one I met. First, however, I'm going to take you on a journey from my home to the event and all the amazing things I saw along the way. The event I was going to was a convention, and I knew that I would be meeting a Minister of Magic there. So I pretty much spent about 3 hours the night before trying to come up with my costume and what I was going to wear. And what I eventually came up with was more or less a Gryffindor uniform, but my own version because I don't have all of the stuff. I had to mix and match it a bit. So I got together loads of different things from Geek Gear and also some of the official things that I'd got from Primark as well in order to try and make up this uniform. I didn't have a Gryffindor scarf, so I used a red scarf. I wore my Luna necklace, which I got from Geek Gear. And I also had a whole load of pins and badges and things which I got from Geek Gear, which I also wore. So I had a Gryffindor prefect pin, and I had the scarf pin, the tie pin, and the jumper pin, and I also had a tie and a tie clip with the Harry Potter scar on it as well. So I really went all out with pretty much every Harry Potter wearable that I have. So that was my costume sorted. The next step was making sure that I would be up early enough in time because I had to travel on the train in order to get there, and also making sure that I had my poster aside which I was going to get signed. Okay, so I was all prepared the night before, I was all ready to go, and I went down to the train station nice and early. So we walked from my house to the train station. It's about 20 minutes walk or something, and we were there nice and early and we were waiting for the train, and then about 2 minutes before the train arrived I suddenly realised that I had forgotten my poster, which was what I wanted to get signed and was one of the main reasons for me going to the convention. So we pretty much had to watch the train arrive and leave because I'd just forgotten it. So then I had to leave my husband and Pops pretty much at the beach for 40 minutes or something, because the next train was a whole hour later and I had to walk home, which is 20 minutes, another 20 minutes back, and they were pretty much just stood there leaning on the walls in the sun like, why has she done this again? Because I'm really forgetful and I do this pretty much every time I need to go to convention. I don't know, I'm just rubbish, I'm so bad. As part of the train journey, we actually had to change trains. So we got off at the station halfway, well, not even halfway of the journey, and we went over to the park, because why not? And there was this weird disc-like thing on the floor, like a bowl, but it was kind of diagonal. So I just went and sat on it. And then Pops, no word of a lie, just decides to start bullying me on this thing. So I'm sat there, minding my own business, and he comes along and starts spinning it like crazy, really fast as well. Like, it was so fast that I went from sitting up to laying in it, and I could not get up. I couldn't. I was so dizzy, it made me so sick. That guy is such a bully. Why me? What? I never did anything to him. He didn't have to do that. We finally made it to convention, and outside there was a load of vehicles all specific to sci-fi conventions, which was brilliant. They certainly didn't disappoint. The first of these was a dune buggy from Mad Max, and it had like these burnt doll's heads on spikes like all over it and everything, which was pretty gruesome, kind of crazy, and definitely just like in the movies. There was also this other vehicle, I'm not sure where it's from, but it was essentially a hearse/mini. So it looked like a mini that had been converted into a hearse, but it was actually a hearse because it had like the hearse logo on the front of it as well, which was really strange, but it was very interesting to look at. And it had this sign on the back saying, "No bodies left in this vehicle overnight," which I thought was quite funny because it's a hearse, But then also it got me thinking about Kingdom Hearts, and nobody's left in this vehicle overnight. I thought that that could be a completely different way of turning it on its head. There was also this motorbike which was parked outside, and it had like these skulls and things all over it, like vinyled into like the plastic on the sides and things, which was pretty cool. So that was like a rocker kind of motorbike. There was also a Decepticons police car, and it had a Decepticon symbol on the side of it, which said to punish and enslave instead of to serve and protect. So that was quite an interesting twist on the whole sort of police thing, and how they're obviously there to try and serve the community and protect people and make sure the laws are followed, whereas these was obviously like a dictatorship kind of thing, like to try and enforce other people with the law. So let's have a look at some of the pictures from the event. While I was in the artist corner, I came across a load of custom pops which had actually been done by one of the artists, and they had essentially done lots of work on them in order to sort of give them more texture and add layers of paint, make them a little bit more grimy, and really bring out the characters they were representing. The Minister of Magic who I met was Pius Thickness, also known as Guy Henry. And when I went up to him, I was a bit nervous. I wasn't sure what to say or how to sort of get a conversation really going. He was so welcoming and so easy to talk to. He was an absolutely great guy. I had prepared just a few questions. The first of these questions was, how did you get the role of Minister of Magic? To that he said that he had had a project with the director of that film a while before. Because they'd got on so well, the director had said, I'll sort you out one day. That led on to him giving Guy Henry a call and saying, hey, do you want to be Pius Thickness in Harry Potter? So that's kind of how that led on. My next question, possibly a little bit more challenging, was, do you know the difference between Pius Thickness in the books and how you played him in the film? He was supposed to be under the Imperius curse the whole time, so he wasn't technically a Death Eater, he was just being manipulated. And the other thing was that in the Battle of Hogwarts, Percy Weasley was supposed to transfigure him into a sea urchin. So when I asked Guy Henry this, he said that he knew about the differences in physical appearance, and that he had in fact been asked to play like he was being controlled or manipulated in some way. But because they didn't put the Imperius Curse actually into the film and make that an obvious thing, it just kind of came across that he was a bit drunk or not quite with it. His words, not mine. So that's kind of what happened there. But he didn't really know about the sea urchin bit. But he did this really great thing. He said, oh well, if I was going to play as the sea urchin, then I suppose I'd do a sort of thing like this. And it was really funny just seeing him do that. Ironically, Guy Henry does actually breed sea urchins at his home, so that's really funny that he actually does that and then his character was supposed to be turned into one. When we came to having photos together, I had in fact brought with me 4 different wands. One of them I didn't really know whose it was, and I gave him the option of which one do you want to have so that we could have sort of a wand photo. And he said, oh, I'll have that one, that's my wand. So I don't know whether that's true, I don't think it is, but that's just the kind of nice guy that he is. We stood there, we only paid for 1 photo, but he must have done about 3 with me, with the wands and everything. So he was just a really great guy. Aside from my Bonnie Wright signature, this is the poster which I use to get all of my Harry Potter signatures on. And as you can see, I've only got 2 at the moment. So my first one was Brian Wheeler, and he was one of the bankers in Gringotts. And then my new one now is Pius Thickness, also known as Guy Henry, which I just got recently. Another thing which I managed to get done while I was at convention was I managed to get a Mangy cat commission. So that is now the new symbol for Mangy Cat videos, and we got that for a really good price, and I coloured that one myself. One of the artists I got on with really well. I must have spent a good half an hour just talking to her, and I got a few pictures from her. Here we've got Hinata and Naruto. This one is Moana, and I really love how it's got the stingrays in the bottom. And then this is Pocahontas. We finished up at the convention quite early because it was rather busy, and we went over to the ice skating rink, and my Pops hasn't been ice skating since he was about 7. I really like ice skating. I don't go very often, and we thought that it was really great that we were going ice skating when I was already dressed up in my Harry Potter stuff, because the ice rink does actually look quite a bit like Hogsmeade when it's all in the snow. That was a really nice sort of way of having almost like a Harry Potter kind of backdrop to my Harry Potter outfit. On the way back from the rink and on our way to the train station, we came across a Funko Pop store, and it had so many in the windows, but I'll be showing those just in the end credits. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button, and as always, thank you for watching and keep collecting.